right. Hey, folks, Jeff Kozlowski here doing a live recording of the next episode of the K-Stream podcast. This is something a little new that I'm trying. Going to start seeing if doing weekly or maybe bi-weekly updates from the, kind of news updates from the streaming world. If that's something that's kind of sustainable, my thinking behind it is that, I find I see these things throughout the week or throughout the last couple weeks on my timelines, on my Twitter feed, on my Facebook timeline, or, other platforms like that, LinkedIn, and these stories from software streaming companies, and just even, you'll see in the NFL in today's episode, there's just a lot of cool things going on that I'm interested in that, maybe in like a quick roundup style, I can pass along to fellow streamers or video producers or marketers that may be interested in trying streaming or just kind of curious what's going on in the industry. So I wrote an article about this on my website yesterday, February 5th. That's why the intro graphic had February 5th on it. But so I posted this article and thought it would be cool to turn into a podcast and a live stream and come on here and talk about it for folks on a Saturday night. So again, this is just kind of meant to be a quick look at some fun things, or at least things that I find cool happening in the streaming industry or the video industry over the last couple weeks or so. So here's a few items that stood out on my timeline this week. First, wanted to note StreamYard is adding or has added long form video play. And what that is now, and StreamYard is the platform I've been using over the last couple months to stream these few live streams that I've done, to record live episodes of the K-Stream podcast. And StreamYard previously, I think, you were only able to upload if you had like a pre-recorded video that you wanted to share during your stream, you were limited to 5 minutes of video. Well, StreamYard just announced and released earlier this week a feature that now allows you to upload videos with no limit on time. So you can upload any long form video that you want and share it during your live stream. A lot of times in my full-time job, I do daily live streams, and a lot of times, our guests aren't free during the time we want to stream, since we're going live daily, typically at noon, but we want to get those guests on. So what we'll do is pre-record them ahead of time and then air the video as if it were live. So this feature within Stream, I use another software, Switcher Studio, for my full-time job, and you have the capability to do that. But StreamYard, it's great that they just released this feature. So now you have that capability to upload, 15, 20, 30 minute, however long videos you want to air as live or kind of as part of your live stream. So I think that's great. I think the only catch there is that when you upload a video, if you leave your broadcast studio and then come back, it's not saved. So you have to upload the video every time you leave or you create a new broadcast. So I thought that was worth mentioning, number one. Next, I want to talk about Wirecast, another streaming software. This was something they released on January 25th, so it's been a couple weeks. So talk about a couple things with Wirecast, one of which being that users can now do a chat behind the scenes with their guests. So if you're the host and you need to communicate with your guest, you now have the capability within Wirecast to do a private chat. That's something that's, available in some streaming platforms already. It's available here in StreamYard, which is great. So, this is a great tool to have if you need to communicate with your guest without the audience hearing, or if you have multiple guests and you need to communicate with somebody to say, hey, can you, close that blind behind you or something like that, or, hey, there's too much light on you, can you adjust it, or we're having trouble hearing you. That's something you can communicate with them without interrupting the stream or the broadcast flow. So that's an awesome addition. And more interesting, or even better, in my opinion, is this is for pro users. If you're on the pro plan for Wirecast, or if you bought the pro version of the product, they have what they released is Shot ISO. So now, as a pro user, you can independently record any shot in the stream, and that includes remote guests. Now, I'm sure there are probably other softwares out there that do this, but I haven't seen it yet. And I think that's, as far as a streaming software, with remote guests in particular, I know Switcher Studio allows you to, if you're doing like an on-site broadcast and you have multiple cameras going, you can record each individual camera feed and then take that and edit it later. But as far as streaming softwares that record remote guests, as separate, as separate files that you can then download and edit in post-production and adjust audio and video on separate tracks. That is so nice for any post-production work that you may do with a stream that you recorded. And like I said, I'm sure there are other softwares out there that do it, but this was something that Wirecast recently added, and I thought that was really, really cool. So let's see. Before I get to the next one, just want to do a quick plug and say, I'm sure you see the little ticker there at the bottom, but make sure to check out @KStreamShow on Facebook and Instagram. Also live on my Twitter channel right now, on my YouTube channel, and just find me @Jeff Kozlowski. But before, here, let me get my name up here in case people want to do a search, but okay, moving on. Next thing, I mentioned Switcher Studio a little bit already, so they are on the list. Article came out earlier this week, or maybe it was late last week, that the Switcher Studio, so if you're not familiar with them, they kind of built their business on being an iOS-based streaming company, so they allow you to create multicam broadcasts, live streams, using iPads and iPhones, likely equipment that you already own, and you can do a multicam switched, fully produced dynamic live stream with that software. It's great. I've been using it for 3+ years in my full-time role. Love Switcher Studio. They've certainly, allowed us to do just some awesome things in the government world. Which are the clients I mainly work with. So anyway, it came out that they raised $2.4 million in new investments. So, I think it's clear that the investors are seeing a need for more, emphasis on remote streaming production and streaming just in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic and all of that. And I think, it's clear, based on some of the things that the Switcher CEO, Nick Mattingly, said in an end-of-year address at the end of 2020. He mentioned that Switcher would, in fact, be kind of putting more of a focus in 2021 on remote production. They're going to provide a dedicated staff person that will help brands that are interested with their remote production. So they have a dedicated staff person that will be assigned to these folks to help them produce remote live streams if they don't want to, maybe download the software and produce it themselves. So I'm sure there's a level of assistance that they probably offer there. I don't necessarily know all the details, but I think it's clear that, and I love that Switcher is thinking in this direction. Use their remote video chat feature, remote guest feature every single weekday at least, and certainly would love to see more resources being put to that, just because the software itself and the actual app that I have on my iPad Pro is so dynamic, and I just think that the more the effort they can put into the remote production capabilities as well, I think it'll just obviously only grow as a great live stream production tool. Okay, so the next item I wanted to mention, now this isn't necessarily, adjust my light real quick. Now this isn't necessarily a live streaming platform. This next one's in reference to Microsoft Teams that many of you may be using for work these days. I know the company I work for, we use Microsoft Teams. I love it. I think it's a great, kind of video conferencing or just kind of team collaboration tool. And I saw that, they kind of on their Twitter account, on the Microsoft Teams Twitter account, they highlight, I think every week they have, they do like their app of the week or something. I can't remember the name of it, but this week it was an app that works within Teams called Breakthrough. And what that is just an app that is designed to help you take short 2-minute breaks throughout the day. I think mental health and self-care is such an important thing, especially during this pandemic. And I think, remote work burnout is certainly a real thing. So love that Microsoft Teams is thinking in this direction and have this option. So I think, it's certainly worth checking out if that, there's something automatic within Teams that can help nudge you in the direction of taking a nice meditative break throughout the day. I think these are 2-minute breaks that they provide you with guided meditation exercises to kind of help you re-energize. And I'm going to post links to resources where I found all of this in the comments after this is over. So in case you're interested in learning more, it'll be there on YouTube. I'll post it in the info or in the description of the video. So the last thing I want to talk about, very timely, I think, and that's Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is tomorrow. I wanted to mention that, talk a little bit about this year's production of the Super Bowl and that it is going hybrid. And what that means is, so the company that kind of oversees production of it, they're called Van Wagner Sports and Entertainment. They are producing kind of the show at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. But this year, and this is something that teams have been dealing with all season, will be, they are going to have staffers on site, kind of, I think they said spaced out into 3 different control rooms across the stadium, but they're also utilizing remote staffers all over, I want to say all over the world, but let me check my notes on that real quick. It may just be I think it's all over the country. But remote staffers across the country that are helping to create a unique experience for both people watching at home and, of course, the fans in attendance. We know that there's going to be a limited amount of fans let into the stadium, which is great. I know it's all kind of essential workers and healthcare workers that have been vaccinated that are going to be allowed to see the game in person, which is awesome. But so I just think it's so fascinating that a production as huge as the Super Bowl, with all of the festivities and the shows that come with it, the halftime show and everything that goes with the Super Bowl, to be able to produce, I can't wait to see it, because to be able to produce something like that with not everyone in one location is going to be quite impressive. And I know this company has a great reputation for doing this kind of work, so I'm sure it'll be awesome. And in addition to what viewers are seeing at home, I also read that, for the folks in attendance, they will have 26 LED screens in the lower bowl of the stadium, so it's going to take up like the first 10 rows. That'll be used for, those screens will show sponsorships and whatnot throughout the game, but they're saying after big plays and during stoppages of the game, the whole system is going to kind of work together for more quote unquote dramatic presentations, kind of more showy type things. So I think that, like I said, it's just exciting to see this kind of technology and how it's incorporated into the biggest professional football game of the year. And so that is it for the updates, going on 15 and a half minutes. That's awesome. I think, that's kind of right where I was hoping to hit with this. So I have to mention, if you're interested in checking out some more episodes of the podcast, head over to Anchor, Apple, Google, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. But you can also check out my website, jeffkozlowski.com/podcasts. I usually list out the latest or the last 5 there. And also I have a playlist on YouTube that you can check out. And like I said, if you want to check out the article that I mentioned, I'm going to go ahead and post it in the comments. Let me get that up right now. There it is on my website. Oh, hey, I got a few comments. Sorry I missed you. I see Chris Carson. Thank you for checking it out, man. Appreciate it. BJ, always good to see you. Appreciate it. And Chris, I see you love Wirecast. I haven't tried it personally, but when doing some research for this podcast and the article on my site, I was very interested and would love to test it out at some point. But thanks, folks, for tuning in. If you did, it's much appreciated. If you get a chance to listen to any episodes of the podcast, would love a rating and a review from you. I think that, it would only help get some more eyeballs on it or ears on it, I should say. But thank you so much. And since we are talking Super Bowl, or since Super Bowl was mentioned, I'm going to go ahead and give a prediction before I sign off here. My Western New York family would hate me for saying this because I know Tom Brady terrorized the Buffalo Bills for so long, but I'm kind of rooting for Tom Brady and the Bucs. I think it'd be cool to see him do it with 2 different teams, and especially in his first year at Tampa. I know he's got a lot of weapons, but that's just awesome. But I think I can't not go with the Chiefs. They just always look so much better than everybody else they play. But all right, folks. Well, enjoy the rest of your weekend. If you're watching the Super Bowl, enjoy the game. I can't wait. And like I said, hopefully I can do some more of these. Might try a weekly or bi-weekly thing. So we'll see. Be safe. Be well, everybody. Thanks so much.